How is everyone? Bright and early. Thank you all for joining me. My name is Sanjeevni Mittal, and I am in the Microsoft 365 product marketing team. And my team's job is to really help you all be able to adopt Microsoft 365. So I'm very excited to see you all in this room, really looking to learn the best practices for how you can adopt Microsoft 365 better. In terms of the agenda for today, what I'll do is I'll share some of what we have learned from you. Thousands of customers have adopted Office 365 and Microsoft 365 over the past few years. So I'll share some of what we see. Even beyond that, we've run enough research to know what are some key factors that really help you be successful in driving adoption. And then I'm really excited to share two customer stories with you. So we have two IT directors that'll join me on stage, and they'll share their story, which we think will be really helpful for you to see what does it mean like, what does it look like in real life. So that's the plan for today. Obviously, we will have Q&A at the end as well, so you will have a chance to get all your questions out. But over the next 75 minutes, I'm thinking you will all walk away with some good tips to go back and start practicing as soon as you get back to drive adoption. Before we jump in, Microsoft 365, it's almost a year now. It's been doing incredibly well. Microsoft 365 is really, think of it as, we brought the best of Office 365, Windows 10, and enterprise mobility and security services together. What it does for you is it really helps you enable your end users, your people, really get the most out of what they bring to the table. It helps them be more creative. It helps them be more productive. And when it comes to Microsoft 365, we've done a really nice job of packing and giving you a lot of choice and flexibility in terms of what works best for you and your teams. What we've realized is we don't have the same work styles. We have multi-generations within our organizations, so everybody has different styles. Some people love Outlook, nothing wrong with that. Some people love Teams, nothing wrong with that. Some people continue to want to use SharePoint, great. But what it really enables you is there is something for everybody within your organization. So it's really designed for teamwork. I'm hoping there are a bunch of sessions this week across all of those product capabilities. So I strongly encourage you all to go listen into those sessions as well. But Microsoft 365 really helps you unlock that teamwork within your organization. And of course, when it comes to IT, you are always looking for simplified IT experience across users, across devices, and across our services. So Microsoft 365 really enables you to do that. And of course, for us, core of everything that we enable, like security, is top of mind. It's very important for us that your data, your company data, your end user data is very secure. So that's something that we take pride in. We are constantly iterating on that. Of course, at the keynote as well on Monday, you probably heard about it. So Microsoft 365, the way it's taking on, one of the big questions that I hear from customers is, how do I get this in the hands of my end users? So we'll share that today. So as I was mentioning, over the past few years, we've looked at Office 365 adoption. We've looked at Windows 10 adoption. And there are 4 key factors that bubble to the top. And it stayed pretty consistent over the past few years, which tells me there is something to be said for those factors. Of course, there are changes here and there. There are process improvements that you can do. But at the core of it, these are the 4 that help you drive adoption of these services within your organization. Let me go into these a little bit more. Stakeholders. Think of it as the team that helps you drive adoption. When stakeholders, you shouldn't really think of it as who are you reporting back, but you think about, do you have a sponsor for this new technology that you're bringing into the organization? Do you have a sponsor throughout the adoption cycle? It's not just when you start, but also on an ongoing basis. Like, think about the champions, like end users within your organization that are your early adopters. Think of them as a core part of your team that helps you drive adoption of technology within your organization. So when we think about stakeholders, it's the team. It's the broader team. You should not be a one-person team that is driving adoption. You have others within your organization that help you do this. So beyond the stakeholders, scenarios. Scenarios. It is very, very important. We have to go beyond the product. You have to think about, what is the business need that I'm solving for? What is the process improvement that I'm trying to put in place through this technology? Scenarios are key. Really think about, what is the discipline around scenarios? What are the business scenarios? How do you measure success? We see time and again that customers that do a really good job of saying, hey, by the end of our X number of months, either it's 6 months or 12 months, here's where we want to be for these scenarios. We want to be able to have saved X number of hours, or saved this much, from a dollar perspective, or saved time from, like, hey, we are doing less, we are spending less in terms of how long it takes for us to go have a conversation, because now we are able to get on a call quickly. Are we saving time? Are we saving money? And really having those metrics in place and measuring them and tracking them is really, really critical. So scenarios is very important in order for you to be effective in driving adoption. This third one feels like a no-brainer, but trust me, a lot of customers always think you can do this once and be done. But the reality is, awareness is a big challenge. Just because you made something available, do not assume that your end users know what it is for. And you have to think about different tools that you need to play in. Think about, hey, how do you want to use your exec sponsor? They are the face of the adoption. So think about it as, hey, how do you leverage them? How do you help others understand that you have champions within your organization that can help them, that can really make it easy for them to understand how the tool helps them do their work better? So have a very concerted awareness plan as you build your adoption plan is really, really critical. And then training. Again, this is one of those, I know some of you do an extremely good job on this, but many a times you think of it as, hey, this is how we've always done training. Turns out people learn differently. Everybody learns differently. Everybody has different styles. So really look at it as, have a mixed bag of tactics when you think about training your end users. You really want to meet them where they are. And it's not something that, you think of it as it's a one and done. You have to continuously iterate on this. Because one of the core things with cloud services is we are constantly adding new capabilities within the same product family. So it's really important for you to think about having a compelling training program, which is core to the adoption program. It should not be an afterthought. It should be built in as you build the adoption plan. We have a number of resources available for you, and obviously we'll make the deck available so you can get to it, but know that even beyond these resources, they give you a good starting point, but build on top of it. And really think of it as it's a holistic plan, right from planning for adoption all the way to executing and really driving awareness throughout the plan. And as I said, the one thing that differentiates customers that see a sustained adoption is they keep doing it again and again and again. It's a continuous engagement. It's not a one-time launch-specific activity. There is no such thing as, hey, we went live, so it's successful. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep engaging your end users. You have to find relevance to the technology for what they are doing or what the business is shaping up to be. So it's an ongoing effort. If there's one thing I want you all to take away, it's this notion that adoption is not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing engagement with your end users that you have to be thinking about. And obviously, we have these tools that help you do this. Like I always say, Yammer is a great way to keep the dialogue going after you've done a launch, because it helps you see, not only just keep the dialogue going, you will see who are your next set of champions, because you will see new people that are asking questions, that are trying different things and sharing best practices, and you sort of have to keep that conversation going. So now what I'll do is I'll quickly switch gears. I'll invite my two esteemed guests from Biogen and DuPont to join me on stage, and we would love to hear their story. So the way it's going to work is we have some questions. Kirsty and Tracy join us. We have some questions that we've crafted for them, so we'll go through those, and then we'll open up for Q&A for you. So thank you guys for joining me this morning. Yeah. Awesome. It would be helpful for the audience to know, what you do, who you are, tell us a little bit about the company, give us a little bit of insight into the size of the company, and I think that'll give them a good head start.
Sure. Crampton, I'm the Director of Collaboration Services at Biogen. I don't know if you're familiar with Biogen. We're a pharma tech. We specialize in MS. We also have some new medicines around ALS and Alzheimer's, which is very big for us. We are a global company, about 11,000 employees and contractors. I'd say about half of those employees are global. We're in about 32 different countries. So as you can imagine, our collaboration needs are growing. We grow probably in new locations. It's about every year. We probably add about 4 new countries. So we're constantly growing. Our team was tasked with some challenges. About 18 months ago, we had purchased Office 365 as a solution, and it wasn't deployed yet. And we had a lot of demand from our business community that were saying, we need better tools. So we had to craft a plan to deploy it. And then we'll get into a little more than that. Tracy.
Great. Welcome. Tracy.
Yes, I'm Tracy Hahn. I'm with DuPont. DuPont is a global science company headquartered in Wilmington, Delaware. We are in the agriculture, the material science, and specialty products industries. We have about 65,000 employees. We were founded in 1802. And I have a dual role in the company. I am the Global IT Privacy Officer. I get the pleasure of assessing all of the tools to make sure that we're in compliance with all the global privacy laws, rules, and regulations. And then I'm also a collaboration leader, kind of a champion for the products. So I get to help with rolling those products out and helping with user adoption. DuPont has been on the move to Microsoft journey for 8 years. I was there at the beginning. We started in 2010. We were a Lotus Notes shop 15 plus years, Office XP, or Windows XP, Office 2003, and over the years we've finally have caught up, and we are 65,000 users, 65,000 E5 licenses, Office 2016 Pro Plus, Microsoft Office 365 MT.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Tell us a little bit, when you started on this journey, what were some of the business outcomes that you sought out for? And then, you felt like Office 365 or Microsoft 365 was a good fit for it.
We had a very big demand for just a collaboration platform. So something that folks could could collaborate content, but not just content like storing files and so forth, but a more holistic approach. How do I chat? How do I communicate? How do I have our own wikis, have our own, storage for sensitive information, as well as partner with external folks. So that challenge was kind of you think about it, it was our North Star, right? So we started in 2016 where we were still co-located with Exchange on-prem. We had our 2010 SharePoint environment, and we were probably creating maybe 2 to 3 SharePoint sites a week, right, to try to collaborate. So it was definitely, we knew that we were missing. And so we realized we had to get there really fast. And so one of our key outcomes where we wanted to get to was we wanted to get to that North Star. We wanted to have something, and we looked at and evaluated groups. And we said groups is something that we can envision, that we can provide a SharePoint Online site, a distribution list, shared mailbox, shared calendar. It was something that we wanted to release. So we had to backtrack, and we had, in 2016, we had a whole bunch of things we wanted to get done. So within 18 months, we migrated to Intune. So we moved from our 8,000 devices over to Intune. We upgraded and moved to Exchange Online. We released OneDrive. We moved to Office Pro Plus. We moved to Skype Online. We launched Groups, which was our end game.
Yeah.
But from a holistic approach, we also wanted to bring in the meeting room experience. So on top of all that, we upgraded 600 global rooms to Skype-enabled rooms to have that one-button install. I saw one of the demos before where literally you can walk into it. So one of our key outcomes was we had to move fast, less disruption to the end user, and obviously there was some contractual things that were going to help us save money by moving faster. And our end game was really to provide that tool. And to where we are today, we're probably creating between 40 and 50 groups a week, where we went from a collaboration platform only supporting a couple a week. Now we have that much collaboration across our teams and growing.
Fantastic. Tracy?
So when we first started the move to Microsoft, we justified the move based upon cost savings associated with legal discovery. And so it was all about saving money. And over time, we moved from that to increasing productivity. We had a mantra: connect, communicate, and collaborate. And that was we used that to highlight all the new ways of connecting, communicating, and collaborating with all the new tools. And fast forward to today, we are the tools have taken. It's not how to use the tools as much as how can we use those tools to help us innovate, to help us grow the business, to help us drive value. So we've gone from cost savings to increasing revenue.
Yeah. Oh, that's fascinating. What were, when you set out, what were some of your considerations for driving user adoption?
One of our biggest ones was, because we have some old school folks, within my team and within IT, we have this kind of, you guys can relate to this, people want improvement but no change. So we had to tackle that aspect, right? We had to tackle that, and how we did it was we knew we had some people that really wanted to move fast, and some people. So we had to create the least denominator, right, of minimizing the impact. In order for us to accomplish all of that, we had to take a user adoption approach by looking at each one of those things that we deployed, and I invest heavily in customer experience. So customer experience is something I hold truly to our success. And what we did was we evaluated that sequence of things that we deployed and minimized the impact. So, for example, when we deployed Exchange, we gave them OneDrive because OneDrive was hard to decouple from the online experience, right? So, but we kind of soft launched it, right? So we gave them OneDrive, but we didn't promote it until we got to Office Pro, Pro Plus. Then you really saw the integration with OneDrive. So some of our core guidelines was really around, how can we get the products out there quick, minimal disruption, and then we did put a lot of effort into giving those folks that wanted to move fast those opportunities. So we had an early adopter program that really helped us deploy that.
Yeah, in IT, I mean, again, we were a Lotus Notes shop, so our first priority was to bring IT up to date. We were not a Microsoft shop, so we had a lot to learn. So we started, and we're still doing this today with every new product that we roll out. We have a small pilot, make sure that the technology works. Then we add on early adopters, and then the rest of IT, and then the rest of the company. So we really had to make sure that IT was educated in the new tools. Microsoft helped a lot with that. They brought in a MEC, Microsoft Experience Center, and back then it was actually, they brought in suitcases of computers and showed us the Contoso company and immersed us in that experience. So our leadership got to see and vision what it was going to be like once once all those tools were in place. We had to consider, just like you, the aging population, the graying of our population. We're an old company, and we have a lot of folks nearing retirement even today, and how much change we were going to put on these people, because literally everything was changing. The desktop was changing. The SharePoint was a new thing. One of the things that we did was get SharePoint Smart sessions to help people understand what SharePoint was all about. I can talk a little bit more about that later on. But and then just things like behavioral changes. We had to think about that, because we're a company of scientists and researchers who, this is my body of work. I want to keep my work to myself. And we had to convince people that we need to move away from my stuff to our stuff, to sharing. And if you share, maybe you can connect with an expert on the other side of the world, and maybe we can stop reinventing the wheel. And so those are some of the things that we considered.
Great. And just for the folks in the room, the MEC that Tracy is referring to, it is what we call the customer immersion experience now. So if you go to the expo area, you can actually attend one of those sessions and see it. So we've come a long way.
Now it's in the cloud, right? It's not like in a suitcase.
Yeah, so we don't bring suitcases anymore, but it's the same, like you actually get a feel for what is it like to be, what does that day in life look like in cloud. So
it really helped us.
Great. Tell us, who are some of your business stakeholders, as you were building this, as you were really thinking about, hey, we are taking on this new journey. Who are the ones that we need to bring along with us? And I know, Kirsty, you had a very disciplined approach for how your team is structured and what have you. So I think it'll be great to share that.
Sure. So I have a product management background. And in IT, it was, sometimes we miss some of those characteristics of being a product owner and being a product management, being the evangelist, being the person who's out there selling that. So I brought new roles into my team. I structured my team in a way where we had customer experience, which was I guess, I iterated before that, I really valued a lot with, but I also introduced the role of a product owner. And there's a lot of product management frameworks out there, but if you take one of those and you say, well, look, we could probably do more of that. We could probably do more of that. And what that did was it provided us a guideline and a framework for us to be able to work with our business. And that business is our leaders, our functional leaders in each one of our commercial, our R&D, our manufacturing, and treat them as a customer, but from a product management perspective. They value to understand where you're going. They understand, IT delivers this and delivers that, but they really wanted to know about roadmap. They wanted to know their functionality. So it was really important for us not only to promote, you mentioned it's an ongoing Yeah, it's an ongoing training, but it's also an ongoing mission for us to be able to promote what we are delivering and what our capabilities. And by working with those functional leaders, they really got a lot of value out of that. And they ended up working with us to help us understand their roadmaps. So it was really key for us to be able to be in sync with not only what we're trying to deliver, but also what they're trying to deliver the business. Because at the end of the day, our customer is the patients. So as we're trying to support those folks that are trying to get that medicine out. So it's really about us trying to work with those folks. But the team structure was really key for us to be able to be successful in deploying those, all those solutions we did.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Tracy?
In DuPont, we have businesses that could actually operate as companies themselves. So even though IT is centralized, we do embed IT leaders within each of our businesses and functions. So key stakeholders include those IT leaders. They work with the business leaders. And then we have a collaboration leader network or a champions network who is on the front line with the end users. I see 4 or 5 of them in the audience today. Thanks for being here. So that's pretty much our model. That's been our model for the last 8 years. So it's IT leadership, engaging with business leadership, getting them to buy in, and then we have this great group of people who are on the front line who actually roll the stuff out and get things done.
So for both of you, just a little bit there, it looks like you have sort of a decentralized model of stakeholders. And Kirsty, would you say that is similar for you, or is it?
Yeah,
Is it different?
they definitely have different goals, right? Manufacturing and R&D and commercial and our corporate, they all have their different paths that they're trying to go down.
Yeah.
But they're all in, when we bring them together, we created a task force. And this task force is where they all meet together. So we bring them together. Instead of just going out and meeting, we found a lot of value of bringing these functional leaders together to actually talk together, because once they talk together, they were able to help drive that vision and adoption as well.
And is that similar for you, Tracy?
Yeah, I mean, we have our champion network. We meet on a regular basis, and we all come from different backgrounds and different perspectives. And I can't tell you how much value there is in that, because we brainstorm, we solve problems, we're all focused on the end user and the end user experience. It's it's a great network.
You both talked about really large organizations, so I'm sure communication was a challenge, as you had to sort of take a very concerted approach, especially as you talked about different stakeholders, different parts of the business. I'm sure manufacturing business units think differently than R&D and things like that. How did you go about build a communication plan as you thought about these rollouts and adding new product capabilities?
We had another one of our guidelines for everything that we deploy. We do this opt-in approach, where the communication is about, hey, be an early adopter, be a champion, learn what's new. It's really like kind of that promotion, right? Getting people excited about it. We know we're not going to get a lot of people, but we'll get a good amount. And then through that opt-in period, we then flip the switch. Then we start saying, hey, why don't you join all these people, right? So now that you have a community, now why don't you be a champion or learn new functionality and adopt it and join this crowd? Because our goal at the end of the day was to reduce risk and challenges, was to get as many people onto the platform and using it before we had to mandate it, right? So that was one of those things we had to do. So that was one of the key things, that concept of opt-in. Everything that we deploy, it's all about opt-in, promotion, that. We also had some, I think I saw that on one of your earlier slides, using invites. We had this master spreadsheet where we had T-minus different days for different groups that were getting migrated, and we had to be very careful. This T-minus 2 weeks, they got this email, and then the other group, they were on T-minus 1. So we had this concept of managing all of our communications on a fluid basis, so they were getting a consistent message about when something was getting updated to them. But we do a lot of things around promotion, where we have We have pit crews, and we call our pit crew, that's you come out of your CAF or someplace and you see some folks there with T-shirts. Microsoft was generous to give us a lot of T-shirts, so I had orange T-shirts all running around on the floors when we were doing deployments and digital signage. But it's about awareness, and I think that early adopter program was probably our biggest success of how we were able to finally deploy and get people moved to a certain platform with as little disruption or arguments.
I know one of the things that you were talking about was how you had different levels of the building going at different points. So you had signage across the elevators.
Yeah.
That was I think it's a great way it's a good best practice. So I think you should share that.
Yeah, so we knew we call hypercare, and hypercare is our little time frame of helping someone before our normal help desk takes over. And the best way we wanted to do it was we have buildings that are 6, 7 floors high, and we knew we could do the morning we would do one floor, and we'd have the signage, so you came into that floor, you'd see some signage, and our staff would be on that floor, and then in the afternoon we would do odd floors or different floors on that. So that worked out well when we were trying to do our big pushes for migration.
Tracy?
Yeah, so for communications, so again, we were Lotus Notes shop, the dark days. So we're moving into Microsoft, and we wanted to have a new voice for IT. So it was a bright voice, an active voice, void of IT speak, super user-friendly. I mean, we even had like a font that we just changed the way we communicated with the company. So out of the gate, we did that. Then we just kicked into, your traditional communication plan, what, when, where, why, what vehicles are you going to use, email, corporate news, webinars, lunch and learns, all the various vehicles, who's going to develop the content, what content do we need, so just all your traditional things that you would do with a communication plan. I have to say that today we have a new communications team, and they are so cool. We're doing things in our corporate news like, some of the headlines are, "What's your PC in dog years?" Talking about moving from your old Windows 7 PC to your Windows 10 PC. Headlines like, "We need to have a chat as we roll out the chat feature of our help desk." So they're having a lot of fun with that. We also have this thing called the Cyber Cafe. We don't really serve coffee, but we serve up a lot of really good tips and tricks for our employees. So we set up shop, outside the cafeteria or at a sales meeting or at a leadership meeting, and we're just kind of there. What kind of questions do you have? What are you having any issues with your PC? We're like IT on the front lines. It's a long time since we've done that. It's usually help desk, and we're at hand's length or arm's length. So we do these cyber cafes. We hand out little business cards that with instructions on them, how to set up your expense reporting on your phone, little things like that. Very simple instructions, things that they can carry away with them. And we ask them questions like, are you using MFA? Oh, you are. Well, did you know that you could use your face or your thumbprint to authenticate? And just little things like that to kind of advance the program.
And how do you, and this is a question for both of you, how do you decide what goes in those communications, like early communications versus the later communications? How do you think about, meeting the users where they are, knowing they're all in different, it's a continuum?
Yeah, we have these dreaded, I say dreaded, but it's necessary, countdown communications. So we know that people don't really look at their emails, so we'll say, they'll get something saying, all right, this is going to happen in 10 days. This is going to happen in 5 days. This is going to happen tomorrow. So we've got all this, and we're doing that today. When there's a big change, we've got these countdown communications, and with all of the details that they need in order to make that change.
Is that similar for you, Kirsty?
Yeah, we emphasize to providing support, right? So we minimized our communications, to what they just had to know. So when we moved into Exchange, we didn't, like, for example, we didn't tell them about you're getting OneDrive and all. So we minimized the impact so what they got, they could digest easy and do just the tasks that we needed them to do to be successful, right? They needed to enter their name, password, or their email differently, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something that we, from an email perspective, too many of the original, because I remember we have these kind of sessions too where you're building out your comms and the first draft is like this long, right? And then over time, by the end of it, you're really, a couple bullets. What I really need to know. We took the approach that the communication of additional features is something we could take after the fact. So it was really about us getting it simple, making that transition to whatever platform as soon as possible.
That's great. How did you build what did your training plan look like? Beyond the communications, what did your training plan look like?
So we invested in a partner to provide 3 short-minute videos, and so the approach we had from our legacy products, where we'd have you have to join this session. So it was more of an opt-in kind of scenario if you wanted to join one of our webcast type of training materials. But what we wanted to do was provide self-paced. And so what we have is the capability that when someone was migrated, within a week they got an email, and that email had a little tip or a trick. And they get another tip or a trick. And then eventually we link them to the actual portal for the solution. So then that portal has a bunch of different tricks. And so it was a creative way of us being able to get the message out without having to force them to go through some formal training. And we've had success, and having people really learn capabilities. I'm always constantly getting, hey, I didn't know this product, this one feature. And it was really kind of that approach is also going to allow us to go fast too with the new concept. Our training, the old way of deploying a product was you'd deploy a solution and you'd have 5 years before you deploy the next one, right? Or a couple of years. Well, in today's world, we have to do all of that every month, right? We're in the process of moving to a monthly channel this year. And that in itself, I'm introducing new features and functionality every single month. So I have to compress what used to be a huge cycle of training and deploying into every month now. And the only way we could do this is more of a self-paced, short video type.
Yeah. Kirsty, can you share a little bit about the Biogen's journey over the last 9 years versus the last 18 months? If you could do that, I think that would be great.
Yeah, I built this little graphic the other day where it showed what we've accomplished over the last 9 years versus, I mentioned earlier, 18 months. And we've been able to accomplish, I would say, 10 times as much deployments of solutions in 18 months as we did over the past 9 years. And it's really from taking a different approach and not having to make it a huge project, right? It's about getting it out there quick, minimizing the impact, and giving them the training. But yeah, for us to be able to deploy, I think we started in November of 2016, our journey to Office 365, deploying just about everything we wanted to get us to where we wanted to with groups.
So this type of training methodology really helps you to keep up with that same pace. It's really important. Tracy, how about you?
When we first moved to Microsoft, we had a hard business requirement to have formal training, formal webinar training in every language, in every time zone.
How many languages was that?
30.
Okay.
Every country. So we hired a third party and we did just that. We set up all this training, hundreds of sessions, and nobody came. Lesson learned. If you've got those kind of requirements, maybe start as a pilot and don't go full on. We went full on and had to roll all the way back. No one was interested in this formal training. So since then, we've done things like we've switched to more like, I would say, informal training, localized training, lunch and learns. I talked about the cyber cafe. I talked earlier about SharePoint Smart, get SharePoint Smart. That's one of our success stories. So people didn't really understand what SharePoint was. So little sessions that showed you how to set up your profile or what's a list versus a library. And for each session, we gave the users a checklist so that, after they completed the session, they should go back to their desk and complete these little items like upload your profile picture or something like that. And after completing the checklist and going through all of the sessions, we asked them to submit a success story and what they learned and how they, the value that they got from these sessions. And we actually bribed them. We gave them Night on the Town awards for submitting those stories. So that was one of the ways that we rolled out our training. We also have a Ask the Expert session. So as people got really good with SharePoint, we set up a self-enrolling session where you could ask our team of experts in India, I'm having trouble with this, or I need to know how to do X, can you help me? And you set up the session, you would schedule it, and actually meet one-on-one with an expert. That was another approach that we've used. That was a great success.
Was that specifically for SharePoint, or did you do that for other products as well?
Specifically for SharePoint. Yeah.
Got it. And I know you talked about the type of training content, and this is a question for both of you. Times have changed a lot, and people really don't have a lot of time. They're unlike to sift through a long piece of content. Talk to me a little bit about what did that content look like? Like, were they flyers? Were they videos? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, ours were videos. We found some research where the attention span was X number of minutes, right, to being able to learn. So we wanted to have that kind of content. We do have our legacy how-to sites, our documentation sites where we document and put, screenshot by screenshot what you're supposed to do. But the adoption and the viewership of those has gone drastically down to where people, they just want to jump in and start working it. I'm really intrigued with some of the new features coming that we've seen with the Office and around. Some of the things we were showing. Being able to see what's coming. I think it's going to help users. I think also the capabilities around the product management responsibilities around roadmap. I think that is also helping people get better training because they see something coming. It's in the roadmap. Like, I want to get ahead of things. I want to go watch some videos. That's also helped.
Is that similar for you, Tracy, on the DuPont side?
We haven't gotten into the video thing that much. We do have some out there, but one of the things that I meant to mention, this is just a nod to Microsoft. They brought in a full-blown Microsoft store into our corporate headquarters. I'm talking 2 tractor trailers full of equipment. They set up the whole store. We had about 500 people go through this. They got to, touch the machines and use the software, even play a little golf on Xbox. It was just a awesome event to get our users familiar with the products. And then we, from a training perspective, we use lynda.com. We publish playlists, so we kind of curate the training and then publish things that we think that would be valuable to the users. And of course, we've got like Biogen, we've got we have tips and tricks that we send out and things like that. So it's a lot of little different things. Yeah.
Okay. How do you think that's landing? Like, are your users using the technology that you envision for them to use it in a certain way? Do you feel like you're seeing the change that you were hoping to see?
Well, we are drastically. As I mentioned earlier, when we had what we call our TeamNet, which was our SharePoint on-prem environment. We were creating a couple, sites a week, for collaboration or document storage. And we also knew we had some challenges of some shadow IT out there doing collaboration and other things. So what we've really seen a huge growth is, when we introduced groups in June this year. And so we built a process where that you can complete and get requests and fill out all the classification information. And we've seen an increase, so we're between 40 and 50 groups a week creating. And I love reading the names. Here's I'll use one of my examples. I created a group just to do the Microsoft EA agreement, right? So I had to pull in the legal team, the VMO office. I had to pull in the server team and everything. So I created a group, had all of our documentation, and we met, right? So that was a one-time thing. But we started seeing that kind of collaboration across teams, across business units, increased drastically once we introduced groups.
So you are starting to see it actually becoming more core to what they do and how they do.
Yeah, to hear people, walk down the hallway and say, "Hey, did you join this group yet?" Or they're using that term now. It's kind of a brand now within our company.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Tracy, how do you see that at DuPont?
Slide says it's a journey.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to ask this question. It's really hard. I know we have evolved, but we definitely are on a journey. We're still stuck in email. But the good news is we're not sending as many attachments as we are links these days. We have about 8,500 SharePoint sites.
Yep.
So lots of good adoption there. OneDrive usage is currently at like 29%, which doesn't sound like much, but a year ago it was only at 10%. And one of the things that's driving adoption there is our move to Windows 10. So get your stuff off of your C drive and put it in OneDrive, because that PC is going away. You're getting a new one. So that's helping to drive that. But one thing I wanted to mention, it's not exactly associated with user adoption, or it might be, is one of the things that DuPont did early on was when we were setting up our SharePoint environment, we first of all, highly customized Lotus Notes. When we set up SharePoint, we were so proud of ourselves for only customizing like less than 5% of the environment. And that less than 5% customization has come back to bite us time and time again. Every time we upgrade, every time we migrate, we've got to deal with these customizations. So I just want to say that we were so rigid in the way we wanted to, and this is specifically around our records management and the way we classify the security classification of our sites. We were so rigid and so set in our ways on how we wanted to do that. So I highly recommend, if you're just getting started, go with the industry standard. Don't force your business model into SharePoint. Let the Microsoft kind of adapt to the Microsoft way. It's really come back to bite us.
I think the modern sites and the web parts have really helped, because in the old classic, you had to customize if you wanted something. You'd buy a third-party plugin or a web part and so forth. And we're kind of taking that approach now too, where we're really trying to drive people to the fact that I actually built a solutions team. And that solutions team, their goal is, if you don't see exactly what you want before you start customizing it, talk to these guys. And that team is diverse in all Office 365 solutions. And their goal and what they're driving people is to use out-of-the-box functionality. So we'll use forms, we'll use flow, we'll use something which is built so we know that can scale, versus what we had in the past where we would just create a SharePoint site and then they would go hire another developer. They would go customize that SharePoint site, and we're kind of dealing with that problem now, where we're trying to do our migrations to SharePoint Online, and we're getting hit with some of those challenges that we had, some old bad habits.
I know, Tracy, you had talked about, there was a culture of, hey, this is my stuff, and I know the company itself had to go through that cultural change. Can you talk to that a little bit? Because I'm sure that, that'll resonate with a lot of the audience as well.
Right, right. Yeah, I think I had mentioned a little bit about it before, but, we're scientists and researchers, and there's this, pride associated with the body of work that you've created and what you've done. And it was really hard to kind of switch people's behaviors and mindsets around that. But I think we were able to show the value in that if you share that and you put yourself out there as an expert and you share that with others, there might be another expert on the other side of the world who sees what you're doing, sees your body of work, and can connect with you, and then we can start innovating in ways we didn't even imagine. So that was how we sold it, and I think that's what we've accomplished.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's a fascinating part of the story, right? Because it comes down to people. When it comes to the adoption, I think that's the thing it comes down to, is it's technology, but it's really people trying to work in new ways.
Yeah.
So I think that was
Teams is going to usher in a whole new era of that.
Yeah, yeah. So, you both talked about how you took on this role, and then your role has sort of, evolved over the time. So it'll be great. Like, share a little bit about how your role has changed from when you started to where you are.
Sure. Well, when I first started, it was about the business saying, "Well, deliver this, right?" And when can you deliver it? That was the basic message. To where I spent a lot of time educating the business, understanding that in order for this to work, it has to be flipped, because there's so much new functionality that's coming from Office 365. I have to be bringing it to you, not you coming and asking for it. And so what we ended up building was, we through the process of these 18 months, we ended up developing our framework. And the framework it's a table of capability and persona. And then so we had this matrix, and then we started putting all the products that we have in our entire company. So we have this database of Microsoft, non-Microsoft, you name it, every application, and we started putting it inside of each one of these boxes. And that enlightened all of us, because what we ended up seeing was, well, we have 10 products that do the same thing here. I'm sure you guys have seen that. And then I found other quadrants where I didn't have anything, or other spots where I didn't have anything. So that ended up giving me now a roadmap. That allowed me to now build a roadmap, which before it was just trying to keep up. You couldn't even think about what's coming in the next couple of months. It was about, what can we deliver today? But now I have a roadmap. So now this framework allowed me to say, well, in the next couple of years, I want to reduce these number of products. Over here, I want to fill in these gaps that I have over here. So that framework we ended up building, I know the term's used a lot, but we call it Biogen Workplace, and it's our hub. And it's a new place where we promote all new users, the entire company. If you want to collaborate, and if you want to understand what to do within Biogen, you go to one place. And I think that's what's really key, is that we flipped the switch to now where we are driving where the company wants to go, versus just simply trying to keep up with what they've asked us to do.
How about you, Tracy?
I'm specifically talking about our champions and our collaboration leader network. We're now much more proactive than reactive. Now that things are kind of in place and settled down a bit, we don't have to defend the products anymore. People want to use them, so it's much more proactive. We're working really close with Microsoft. They're helping us with things like what tools to use when. So we're really excited about that and rolling that out. I mean, we kind of want to understand all of that as well as the leaders.
Yeah.
But we're super excited about rolling out some of that to the end users. Our knowledge of the tools has really increased, which has changed everything. So somebody wants a SharePoint site, we can sit down and have a really good conversation with that user, that business, and understand their needs and really give them what they want, instead of all of this, out of the box. It's not customization, but it's just making their site usable for them with the tools that they need to do whatever it is they're doing. And we have the knowledge and the skills to do that now, which we didn't before. So that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. And you feel like you're making the business impact that you set out with.
Exactly. We're really adding value now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And how do your peers in the business look at you now?
I don't know. I think we have a level of respect. You know, they depend on us. You know,
Yeah.
we're really adding value.
I did a lot of work in probing and going into the business and finding little collaboration teams. And I found lots of little pockets of teams that, like, oh, we're doing collaboration. Oh, no, we're doing collaboration. And I spent a lot of time trying to pull all that together. And that's really helped, right? Being able to say, well, why don't you come and tell us about your need?
Yeah.
I would find documents that some group knowledge management team wrote a 50-page or 50-slide on, what to do about knowledge management. And I don't even know who that group was, right? So there's a lot of rogue. And I think what's evolved now is that the word collaboration now throughout the entire company now comes all to us, versus before it used to be, well, this team's going to do their own collaboration thing. Now it's all about driving, and let's really be holistic and from a company perspective. So that was a lot of effort that we spent to help drive that, so that everybody now works together to delivering these.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Did anything surprise you through this journey?
Well, I guess the early days was, we had some challenges of people not the old school, being able to learn how to functionality. But I say from a positive perspective, what we learned about this journey was opportunities that we didn't even really think about have come up.
Yeah.
And I'll give one example. We are growing a lot. So we have a lot of new companies, a lot of new countries that we're going into. In some of these locations, infrastructure is very challenging for us. So now that we've rolled out OneDrive, run out SharePoint Online, we're now looking at, completely eliminating network drives, shared drives, on-prem infrastructure, so we can set up a virtual office simply by getting an internet access to a company, where we have a template-driven. And I think what we've learned, we were just trying to play catch-up at one point, but now we're actually being able to see the opportunities and how we can make changes in some of our long-term strategy around that. So next year, I'll probably have four to five new countries that will be brought up, and other countries that will probably migrate and start decreasing our reliance on any kind of infrastructure and be completely cloud-based. Those offices.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. How about you, Tracy?
Yeah,
What
so I think
surprised
I've
you?
probably talked about most of these, but it's that the whole idea of setting up all that training, going to all that work to get all of that done, and then realize that really wasn't what people wanted. That was a big surprise, as well as this whole idea of customization. We thought we were just doing a tiny thing, and that tiny thing has really come back to get us. And we continue to do this. I mean, we're rolling out Skype for Business, and we decided, we're going to use half Microsoft and half a current vendor or provider, and that didn't work. We tried to customize that. It didn't work. We're rolling out Windows 10, and we decided, let's make it look like Windows 7, and users are like, it's not Windows 10. So, we continue to try to make things DuPont, DuPontize things, and we continue to realize that that's not the right direction. So lots of lessons learned.
Yeah. But do you feel like you are, now that you've learned those lessons, you are much...
The difference today is that we are, we make the mistake, we acknowledge it, we see it, we change, and we
move forward.
Where before we would stick with that mistake. We're not going to change it. So we're a little more agile these days.
I think there is a culture change that it's actually helped you sort of go through that.
We're getting. I think another thing that surprised me is we are getting some people more so than the past, that want to be champions and want to be, before is like, don't change.
Yeah.
Right? So we're trying to change that culture of one improvement, no change, right?
Yeah.
But we've seen a lot of increase in people wanting to that, In fact, it's mentioned there, our teams, while still in a pilot, we're testing it, it's growing rapidly. I think it's those folks that are finally seeing, maybe let's try something. Maybe goes to, the mobile experience, right? Everything's changing fast on mobile. It's starting to make its way into the enterprise a little bit.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Any closing thoughts before we open up for questions to the audience?
I guess my biggest point is, when you look at deploying the solutions, is to take that, one tip, it would be to take that product management kind of approach to it. You want someone who's your evangelist. You want someone who's looking out and understanding what the business needs and what those requirements are. And that really helps gain the trust of the business, because they're seeing that you're valuing their input more so than versus just simply trying to deploy the next version of Exchange.
Tracy?
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't have anything to add.
Great. Thank you both for joining us. At this time, I'd like to open up for the audience. Please come to the mics. There are 4 mics here. Yeah, please.
Hello, my name is Erhan. I'm from Procter & Gamble. We went through the similar journey, and one of the things I personally find is that Microsoft offers different solutions for different collaboration needs. OneDrive, Outlook groups, Yammer groups, Microsoft Teams, SharePoint. How did you overcome the challenge of explaining users what to use when?
So we actually used another Microsoft app called Power Apps to build a shopping cart tool. And so that framework that I mentioned earlier, that had your capability and then had your persona, we actually converted that into a visual tool. So Biogen workplace.biogen.com, there's what we call our solutions guide. And how we help navigate all the different solutions is that you go there and you pick your capability that you want, like say I want to store, or I want to collaborate, or I want to communicate. You pick your capability that you want, and then you pick your persona. And you say, I'm a person, or I'm a team, or I'm a department, or I'm a company. And what happens is and we're just using a SharePoint list in the background, but what's happening is that it starts off with a grid, it looks like an Amazon shopping cart, and it has 40 different items of what you can do within our collaboration portfolio. And as you select these things, they start going away to the point where you nail down to your last little bit. And then you can highlight over them so you can see what they do. You can drill into it to see a little short 3-minute video of what that solution is, how it works within Biogen. And then you have little check boxes, which is, this is one of the better features, where you check boxes, you can select all 3 of your items that are listed, click compare, and what it'll do is it'll create a side-by-side comparison. Here's what project looks like, project online versus planner. And now you see the comparisons of the products and say, oh, you know what I really want is a planner. You click on planner, and then it brings you to the planner homepage, and then there's request a planner. And we have all the actions right there. So that was one of our creative ways of taking that approach and really driving everybody into a tool that they can actually use to help navigate, because there is a lot of tools that are available out there. And since it is dynamic and uses a SharePoint list, I can add anytime I want to, I can add new products to it, versus printed materials. Typically, they're outdated as soon as you print them, right?
Yeah.
So this allows us to be dynamic and add new functionality on the fly.
That's great. Question?
Yes. So we're in the process of planning our rollout for Microsoft 365, and I'm curious if you have in the past or are considering for the future using any of the fast track services, and why?
Yep. So our Exchange, we use Fast Track for all of it, for our migration to Exchange Online. It helped us tremendously. I think we migrated probably pretty close to migrated the majority of our users in just over 4 weeks using Fast Track. So absolutely, I would recommend using them for that.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you guys for being here today. I'm at Amicus Therapeutics. We're a biotech company. We're basically where you were kind of 18 months ago. So it's been very fascinating to hear both stories, in a regulated industry and those kind of things. So I have two questions. One's very specific to your files and all the things that were in hard drives and share files. And did you sort of have a cutoff point and just say, from now on, we're moving stuff to SharePoint? Or how did you get all of those terabytes of data and move it to SharePoint?
So we have a tool that we're using, a Microsoft partner that has built the migration tool.
Okay.
And it did require a lot of, I would say, cleanup, because we have a lot of, if you're in the industry, you know the retention policies, we have 15 different variations of retention policies, and it's based on when it was created or when it was last saved. So it's 30, right? And so we have to, every single one of our documents has to go through a classification from that perspective. So it was a big cleanup projects that we had to do there. But once we got to that point, then we're using a utility that allows us to migrate from point A to point B, and it's helped out a lot. And we're still hit some of the bumps of customizations, but at least we have all the classifications and the security aspects ironed out. Now we're just kind of dealing with the legacy of customizations that people might have added to SharePoint.
So then the next question, unrelated, is about training. You both mentioned the whole sort of formal 90-minute sessions and all of that just aren't going to work, right? So I was talking to some people on the floor, some of the vendors, and they said, oh yeah, we create all of this custom content for you guys, and it's in short snippets, and it's QRGs, and videos and things like that. So how do you, and Microsoft provides kind of all of that stuff, right? So how do you leverage both, or do the balance to do, all of that Microsoft provides in the training world versus, maybe a third-party training vendor, and how do you sort of blend the two together?
Yeah, we do some little videos, things that are very specific to DuPont, the things that we have customized. And we are starting to leverage more and more of the Microsoft training. We're just sending people right there when we can. But again, that when we customize it, it causes a lot of extra work.
Yeah, we don't want customized content, so we purchase pre-bought. This is how you do it in groups. This is what you do with Exchange. So we bought those videos. And the vendor we use, Microsoft just recently, I think it was last year, they came out with their own whole portfolio of training videos, which we do use in a lot of our content. It's just that the one vendor we have also has non-Microsoft products, right? So we have to have both capabilities built into that. But we have used them quite successfully, being able to train those.
Great. Can we go to that, Mike?
So I'm guessing that both of your companies have a big Asia presence. Do you have any tips on how we can handle the user adoption in this region?
In China specifically?
China, Japan, Korea, knowing that I find the users to be a bit more reluctant for change.
I would say it's an ongoing challenge right now. I can't say we've nailed that one yet. In China, we're having some great firewall of China. The challenge is where we have the OneDrive capabilities. We do know that the virtualization approach that we're taking, of not having infrastructure in place and having it all in the cloud base, is helping us get into some of these countries. There's a lot of is helping us.
I was more like focused on user adoption strategy, like based on the cultural aspects.
I guess it really starts with, it's the participation of them joining. Obviously, there's different cultural aspects of how you do things. But what we found is the desire to be inclusive and to be part of the team. And I think that has really helped in some of our communications. And we do our communications in all the languages, local languages. So that does help, make them feel more that we trust them and want them to be part of our community. But I think our biggest success in that is really from a teamwork perspective of being able to make sure we're inclusive of that entity in there. So it's really about including them to help them to understand what we're trying to get accomplished.
I was just wondering, how mature do you think your companies were from a change management and adoption perspective when you started this journey? And from a resources perspective, how many people do you have that are fully dedicated to your Office 365 adoption work? Because it sounds like you have to have a bit of a small army to do all of the things that you've mentioned.
I know initially in DuPont we had over 100 people on our project team to get us moving. And right in the middle of it all, I didn't fail to mention we've had mergers, acquisitions, divestitures, a lot of change in the company, and we lost our entire change management team through that, and now we're just starting to rebuild. But I would say with our champion network, we're probably 30, 40, 50 strong. But the formal change management, we're just now recovering from all the change, and we're just now getting back to it. And that's where it's super exciting. We've got a new team, we've got fresh energy, good ideas. So,
thank you. And was yours?
Yeah, we're not quite as big. I mean, we're about 12,000, between 11 and 12,000, depending on the time of the year, of employees. But our team size is probably, I was going to say, maybe between 15 and 20. I have dedicated product owners, I have my customer experience team, and I have an engineering team, and then we'll complement with contractors. But
Okay. Thank you. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Can we go to here?
Hi, good morning. I work at a large financial services company, about 75,000, so this question is more geared towards DuPont. I've noticed that in a large company, when you set timelines for a project, they generally tend to slip because things are a lot more complex than originally assumed. So my team is in charge of the marketing, communication, and training around Office 365. So my question is, I would assume that there may have been similar instances at DuPont where your timeline shifted. We have a lot of people that are excited about the tools, and it's the worst thing in the world when you communicate something and then have to re-communicate that it's delayed and things aren't coming. So these people that are excited are now just getting this message that it's coming, but they're not getting it. So my question is, did you have similar situations? How did you manage those user expectations? And how did you keep up engagement and excitement about these tools when certain things seem to be slipping down the track?
Yeah, I can't really say we're really successful in that area because we have had a lot of setbacks. Moving forward strong, and then changes happen in the company. Like I said, there was spin-offs and cutbacks. So we're experiencing the same thing as you are, and it is hard to keep people engaged. We're moving to Skype for Business, and things started to crumble a little bit, and we've had to pull back, and it's frustrating for the team as well as for the users, and I don't have the answer.
So I guess I would ask, are you as transparent as possible when things are happening? I mean, what kind of message do you send when you said Skype is crumbling? Do you tell them, this was our strategy and we're having to rethink? Or I mean, how transparent are you as opposed to how much are you trying to save face?
Right. So you've got the corporate communications, the corporate IT communications that go out, and oftentimes the collaboration leaders, the ones that are on the front lines, have to deliver that news of it's delayed.
I introduced Scrum and Agile, which was a completely change in how everything was done within our IT when I got there, and had to actually train people on how to use it. And that introduced a whole new concept of you don't necessarily set dates, if you're familiar with that concept. However, you are more agile to the ongoing changes. And if you saw, when I spent $6 million on conference room technologies and changed every conference room globally, and our direction probably changed 10 times during the actual cycle of that. However, we delivered ahead of schedule, on budget, on time. And the reason why is because it's a different approach to looking at that. Working on from a Scrum perspective, you're not giving those necessarily commitments, but you have targets, obviously, because you want to meet some goals. But it definitely provides a different way to adjust and to accommodate to changes and curveballs that get thrown at you often.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
In the back.
I kind of have a three-part question, but it's all related. So how did you build your champion network? How many people were in your champion network? And what were the expectations that you set with them? You know, what were they going to give back?
So we have our champion, we call them infusers, and we have about 200 in that infusers group. And those are our really early adopters. We also started using Yammer to kind of promote. So, and we brought Yammer to our content pages, versus instead of, so embedding Yammer feeds, right, into like, so we would have a pilot or an early adopters page where you can learn about content, and we would bring the Yammer feed into a web part into that, so people could actually start seeing it more instead of having to go navigate to the actual Yammer group. But what we ended up doing was creating that 200 user community, and then as we started growing that, having people sign up, and then when they started using the Yammer, they really started collaborating and that group expanded. So now I'm probably, when we announce our early adopters, I probably get between 600 and 700 requests now of people wanting to get on board with new stuff.
That's a sizable population, knowing you are 11,000 people strong.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So it's all based on volunteering, right? You don't.
Yeah, well,
Tell.
I do go, and we do go to our task leaders, so our functional leads. Occasionally, I will go into them and I'll say, you need to nominate, because we have specific requirements around testing and so forth, and so we will have to occasionally get people to be nominated to do this. But our infuser group is so large, we don't typically have a challenge getting people to help us.
What about at DuPont?
DuPont? So ours was a completely volunteer network. That's how it started. Today, these are actual positions in the organization with position descriptions. But it did start out as just people that were like excited about the change and wanting to share the word. To today, where it's much more formal.
And is there an expectation that these people will help train?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Great. One last question.
I appreciate you guys' time today. This has been a great session so far. So listening to the presentation, looks like you've really got it nailed as far as deploying products and services and everything. But how are you measuring kind of the end user experience and also that adoption rate? So, how do you know you're successful? I mean, you can look at a roadmap and say, oh, I've deployed these 10 services, 10 products, whatever, to our customers. But how do you actually measure the success of that deployment, the people getting engaged, the end user friction of like, are they thinking, oh, this is just one more change I have to deal with? Or is this like an exciting thing for them that they're able now to do their job better because they've understood the value proposition? How do you measure all that?
Well, I value feedback, so we send surveys, quite a bit surveys to every time we deploy something, we send out feedback. We want feedback from our users. That is one. But we also I have a lot of dashboards that we built in Power BI that shows me actual utilization. So I can actually go in from a metrics perspective, show you, look at the increase in OneDrive, look at how many groups that we have being created and how many people are in those groups. So it's kind of twofold. One, we want their feedback, and I think I value that. So I know in the past our team was gun shy around, I don't want to go ask them because then we're going to get a bunch of, but we've kind of created that new culture where we want feedback, and we really encourage people to let us know. So it's something that we value, to get that feedback.
Yeah. I mean, we have the metrics available, the hard numbers. DuPont is in the midst of a lot of change, and one of the big changes is IT shifting our focus to the user experience. We're bringing on a user experience leader. There's going to be a whole team that's focused on that. So I can't say that right now we're measuring satisfaction or end user or customer delight, but that's definitely on our roadmap. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Really appreciate, and I want to thank our guests today. So really appreciate you participating.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.